Good morning, and welcome to this episode of Cup of Tech, casual conversations, usually over a cup of coffee. My coffee cup this morning is bright and sunny like it is outside, but it actually has tea in it this morning rather than coffee. What do you have in your cup this morning? My name is Allison Schlofel, and I'm the coordinator of digital integration for South Bend Community School Corporation. And on this episode of Cup of Tech, we're going to talk about evaluating those digital tools that we use in our online blended learning environment. We're going to answer 3 questions today. The first is, how do we ensure the digital tools we are using will enrich and extend our teaching? The first is that we can utilize EdTech tool resources that already are vetted for us. Experts vet these resources and curate them for the teachers so that they don't have to. The first being OER Commons. It's a free, accessible online library that allows teachers and others to search and discover open educational resources that's completely free and accessible. So you can usually adapt these resources and make them your own as well. The second is Common Sense Media. It's an organization that reviews and provides ratings for media and technology in order to provide enough information for teachers to determine if it is suitable for students or not. I'm going to talk more about Common Sense Media a little later. And the third is Cult of Pedagogy. It's an online magazine for anyone who teaches anything. And they're not kidding. You could teach high school geometry, you could teach pre-K, you could teach home economics, and there is something for you on this website. Topics that they cover include teaching strategies, classroom management, educational reform, educational technology, and the list goes on. And the best part is it comes in a variety of platforms, such as a blog or a video or a podcast. These are 3 of my favorite ways and resources to search for instructional materials that I know are vetted by the experts and ready to use in my classroom. However, that's not always the case, so we should always use the Sift model when we are finding new resources and digital tools. We first must stop when we get to a new tool and search for an author, author's experience, author's names. If they're credible, they kind of want to share their experience and their information. We must then stop to investigate the source. Has it been updated recently? Are there broken links? Does it stay up to date on the newest tools and strategies? The next thing is to find the trusted coverage. Are there expert references? Is it really the best source out there? Are there reviews or testimonies that show experts are using this source and agree with it? And lastly, tracing the claims, quotes, and media to the original content. Check to see, what do they use to review their sites, or what do they use to vet it? Do they reference research and foundational principles and frameworks, or is it just ideas floating around and information that may not be backed by research? The second question we're going to answer today is, how do we ensure the digital tools we are using will provide an accessible learning experience? And the first thing we must do is evaluate the user experience. We must first talk about the user instruction. At first glance, when students first get to the platform or the app or the website, can they teach themselves how to navigate it, or do you need as a teacher to provide a step-by-step instruction? Maybe the first time, but not the second, third, and fourth time they access it. The next is the user interface. Is the navigation easy to follow? Can students find the different areas of the platform that you would like them to access? Does it access across devices and platforms? Can a student who may not have a laptop at home access it from their phone, or vice versa? If a student forgot their laptop at home, can they access it in class on their phone, etc.? Are there diversity and language supports? If you have English language learners in your classroom, does this app or tool or platform allow for those language supports? And lastly, what are the costs and what is the required devices? Usually our technology department handles this side of things in terms of cost and making sure it's required. However, if teachers are finding their own resources, that is something to take into consideration. The next is evaluating the learning experience, and this checklist comes from Tori Trust ebook, Teaching with Digital Tools and Apps. when you're evaluating the learning experience, what type of learning experience can this digital tool provide? And which learning theory is most appropriate, or theories? Are you working with behaviorism or constructivism? Those higher order thinking skills. How can it be used to support that? How might this digital tool be used to facilitate the development of different types of knowledge? And does this tool support students in achieving one or more of those ISTE standards for students that we talked about last episode with digital citizenship? And our third and final question that we'll answer today about evaluating digital tools is, how do we ensure the digital tools we are using will protect students' privacy? This is referring back to the Common Sense Media. This is a great evaluation tool that helps teachers assess the privacy of digital tools and apps, including what data is collected, shared, how it's secured, and what data rights you have. I gave an example of code.org. It has a 96% privacy rating, and so it passes Common Sense Media's evaluation. It goes into much deeper rationale and things like that on a variety of different topics once you click into it. So as you can see, there's an expert evaluation, and you can see the complete evaluation with an overview, etc. So making sure that everything is there, and it goes into a lot of detail. So if you're interested in that. Another way that we can ensure that our digital tools are appropriate for students' privacy is through teaching students what questions to ask themselves. What data does it collect? What data does it share? How does it secure data? And what rights do I have to that data? I linked an activity here that you can utilize in your classroom or in an early module. And it goes into, dragging and dropping. So you can have your students look up some of these different things and put it in the correct column. Is it not collected or stored? Is it collected, stored, and I can choose who sees it? Or is it totally public? So today we answered 3 questions. We talked about digital tools and evaluating them to ensure that our teaching experience, that it enriches our teaching experience, that it provides student privacy, and that it is accessible to our students. So, as always, thank you for watching this episode of Cup of Tech. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, and I'm always available on Twitter. And as always, I want to give credit to the same presentation template, images, and fonts that I utilized from Slides Mania. Have a great day.